carefully chosen target set was hit by a complex, multi-vectored operation that was the largest and most sophisticated long-range drone strike in military history. While Russia contemplates the craters and struggles to put out the still-burning fires, we're going to take a deep dive into Ukraine's most successful strategic attack to date. I'm former SEAL Team 6 Squadron Leader Chuck Farr, so buckle up as we take you to the Kyiv Post's point of impact. Over the past 3 weeks, Ukrainian forces have targeted Russian military-industrial complexes, fuel facilities, and strategic manufacturing sites. The principal weapons used to disrupt Russia's strategic assets are indigenously produced long-range Ukrainian drones. Well, this is a tall order for a nation that has only limited tactical aviation platforms, has few air superiority fighters, and no strategic bombing capabilities. What is remarkable, and in fact what is new in the history of warfare, is that Ukraine is attacking Russian strategic targets not using bombers or strike fighters, but drones. So, how did Ukraine pull it off? Preparations, intelligence gathering, reconnaissance, and operational planning were weeks in the making. The target list included important military, aviation, chemical, petroleum, oil, and lubricant storage, manufacturing, and aerospace research facilities. The Russian strategic bases at Engels 1 and 2 are frequent targets of Ukrainian drones. Targets on the bases have included aviation maintenance facilities, ordnance storage and handling, avionics repair buildings, and command and control nodes. The 14 January attack would target fuel storage and handling facilities at the base. The Bryansk chemical plant. The target is approximately 120 kilometers from the Ukrainian frontier. It's a key manufacturing location producing ammunition, specialized warheads, and missile components. The Saratov oil refinery, 644 kilometers, that's 400 miles from the Ukrainian frontier, processes crude oil. Saratov is vital for providing diesel and gasoline, which is essential for military logistics, and fuel for armored vehicles, as well as machinery, kerosene, various grades of jet propulsion fuel for Russian aircraft and helicopters, and Saratov also distills specialist fuels for the turbojet engines used in Russian cruise missiles. The Kazan-Nagornets chemical plant, located in Kazan, Tatarstan, is approximately 1,100 kilometers, 666 miles from the Ukrainian frontier. The plant produces polymeric materials and other precursor products for military and civilian uses. The Alianinsky chemical plant in Tula, Russia, was approximately 695 kilometers, that's 432 miles, from the Ukrainian frontier. This facility supplies products to various military applications, including gunpowder, artillery propellant, explosive, cartridges, and small arms ammunition for rifles, machine guns, and automatic cannons. In Tatarstan, the oil depot at Nizhkamaninsk is approximately 1,300 kilometers, that's 807 miles from the Ukrainian border. The adjacent Tenneco oil refining enterprise was also targeted. Tenneco produces distillates, fuels, and specialist products. Some of the facilities were as far as 800 airline miles from the Ukrainian border and often as far as 500 kilometers from one another. Ukraine's task was monumental. Once the primary targets were designated, intelligence planning could commence. This involved not only thorough reconnaissance of the individual targets, but a comprehensive survey of the placement of Russian air defense systems throughout the region. These included the semi-fixed radar sensors and high-performance air defense systems like the S-400 and S-300, but also capable mobile systems like the SA-15 Tor, the Buk M1 and M2, Particular attention would be paid to point target and short-range air defense systems like the Pantsir S-1 that are typically deployed at or on each target for close-in defense. Not only the location of these systems had to be pinpointed, but their states of maintenance and the material and individual readiness states of their crews had to be discerned. All of this had to be accomplished without alerting the Russian enemy. Op planning is both an art and a science. A good operational plan takes advantage of enemy weaknesses. The trick is to exploit seams or dark spots in Russian radar coverage. Determining the exact position of Russian air defense complexes allows Ukrainian planners to calculate the known limits in the combat radius of Russian air defense missiles. Good old map study can reveal quirks in the topography along the approaches that can conceal approaching Ukrainian drones from detection. Wherever possible, terrain is used to mask the approach of low-flying Ukrainian drones. Deception is also an important factor. Ukraine possesses several high-speed and long-range drones, like the U.S.-designed ADM-160 miniature air-launched decoy called the MALD. The multi-role MALD can be launched as a distraction, a decoy, and as an electronic warfare platform to fritz Russian radars. The MALD is one of the unsung heroes of Ukrainian long-range strike operations. Fast movers like the MALD and Ukraine's indigenously designed Paleontasia turbojet and rocket-powered cruise missile can enter the target area first to conduct quick strikes to achieve the destruction of radars and the suppression of enemy air defenses. These precise strikes are timed so that slower, long-range drones can arrive amid the chaos of exploding surface-to-surface air batteries, collapsing sensor systems, and burning launch vehicles. This gives the heavy hitters a clean shot at the target. And none of this happens by chance. All of it is painstakingly planned, literally to the second. Let's take a look, target by target, and see how the 14 January attacks unfolded. At the Engels 2 Strategic Air Base, the Kristall POL facility was hit by Ukrainian-made Lyuty drones. The strike likely came as a surprise, as the fires of a previous 11 January strike were still burning. The damage included the destruction of tanks containing specialist aviation fuel for Tu-160 bombers, which are critical for Russian strategic aviation. At the Bryansk chemical plant, again, Ukrainian Lyuty drones were used in a strike. The attack led to a massive series of secondary detonations that lasted for hours. Secondaries from the target were so cataclysmic, they took out two adjacent Russian Tor and Buk anti-aircraft missile systems.
Саратовский нефтеперерабатывающий завод после атаки дронов.
At the Saratov oil refinery, also targeted by the Lyuty drones, the attack triggered a large-scale fire that damaged the storage and distillation equipment. And the damage will have continuing and serious implications for fuel availability, mobility, and logistics for Russian forces. At the Krasnogornets plant in Kazan, witnesses report a major fire following a complex attack that used a variety of Ukrainian drones, including the Lyuty and other types, like the PD-2, Beaver, and the UJ-22. Russian claims that drone debris falling on the plant's territory caused only minor harm to the production capabilities. But scenes of fires and columns of highly toxic smoke suggest that this attack also was successful. At the Tula Alakinsky chemical plant, a major fire and secondary explosions were reported As this facility supplies gunpowder, cartridges, and ammunition, secondary explosions continued as efforts were made to extinguish the initial fires. At the Tardistan oil depot, fires were reported and then following an attack by, again, Layuti drones. This strike targeted one of the key facilities crucial for fuel supply. The Tenneco oil refining enterprise was also targeted, with the distillation, storage facilities, and equipment also destroyed. And as we went to press in the early hours of 24 January, Ukrainian forces conducted yet another masked drone attack targeting Russian oil production, distillation, civil infrastructure, and this time specifically focusing on the Ryazan region of Russia. Approximately 470 kilometers from the Ukrainian frontier, a multi-vectored drone strike targeted the Rosneft oil refinery complex in Ryazan. As many as 121 strike and decoy drones conducted the attack, making this one of the largest single-target raids to date. At the Rosneft facility, eyewitnesses reported large and spreading fires, as well as numerous secondary explosions. Fires were seen burning in tankage and refinery areas as smoke billowed from the facility. These spreading fires indicate a substantial impact on the operations of this major oil refinery. Also hit was the adjacent Ryazan oil pumping station, critical to plant operations. Fires on this site indicate extensive damage and operational disruption at the facility. Damage to the pumping station will hamper not only continuing operations at the refinery, but will disrupt firefighting efforts as well. Secondary targets in Ryazan include the region's thermal power plants. Initial assessments indicate major structural damage to production and transmission facilities, with reports indicating damage and disruption to power supplies, both to the oil plant and the surrounding areas. Each of these carefully chosen targets plays a distinct and interconnected role in supporting the Russian military's capabilities in Ukraine, from direct weapon manufacturing to ensuring logistical backbone of military operations. These attacks also keep Russian commanders awake at night, and well they should, because the Ukrainians have demonstrated that they know what they're doing. Hey, for the Kyiv Post, I'm former Navy SEAL Chuck Farr, and I'll see you again at the point of impact.